5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live with Neve. This is Live with Neve. Iconic musicians, comedians, and entertainers of all types. Interviews, comedy, and God knows what else. Hold on!
All right, everybody. Here we are. It is almost Christmas. It is a beautiful day here from high in the highlands of New York and New Jersey. I am overlooking the beautiful city, which has got a little cloud around it, and the ocean looks nice and cold out there. It's kind of a comfortable day. I have some excellent guests up today. We are going to have, excuse me, we're going to have the amazing Roy Bookbinder, who is hand-carved, one-of-a-kind American musician and legend, and we're glad to have him here. I'm also joined, as usual, by my co-host and producer, Julie Bruno, and I have the lovely and talented Diane Delina. Diane is a woman of considerable talents. She can herd cats. She can herd musicians. She takes care of Charlie Allen, takes care of, tries, and she tries to take care of those youngins, Dina and Joey. So
now that you
welcome.
put it that way.
You're so busy, Diane.
Man,
we all have our cross to bear.
No. Charlie Allen is a whoo.
He's
great.
Oh my gosh, he was so much fun too. He was a trip.
He really is.
We had great fun with Charlie, and I'm looking forward to having him back once things get a little more normal.
There's a lot of fun.
You mentioned, I was talking to somebody, and you mentioned that Juna and Joey were playing a festival, I believe, in April, if things go well. Is that still on?
We are, and I'm excited about that because, believe it or not, their father, of course, was like an 80s guy, and he's arena rock guy all the way. You know, when we're in the car with him, he's got the rock station on blasting, and they know every song. And they actually started at the School of Rock when they were really little. They had a rock band. It's hilarious to see their photographs. And so they're rock and rollers. So country's their heart, but rock and roll is, their jam too. And we're so excited because I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida. And that whole Southern rock thing in the 80s was, I was there. You name it, Sportatorium, everywhere. Civic Center.
You don't have any tattoos that are unusual that say Leonard Skinner was here or anything, do you?
No.
You're such a quiet, you're quiet, mild-mannered, recording and, management time.
Story, though.
Big, dude. The whole band?
No.
Do you have any good stories?
Yeah, I got I don't know, maybe it was some miracle, the gods were shining on me one night, but you know how they come up to you when you're I didn't know this. When you're at a concert and they slap the backstage pass on your leg or something?
Yes. Yeah.
So,
usually you have to go for the ass. I hate to say it, but it's usually the slap.
It's this. Where is it? I can't find it. There it is.
Yeah. So I was walking. The concert had already started, and just to preface this, Bad Company is just.
Yeah.
I am a Bad Company girl all the way.
Hell yeah, girl.
And I was walking with a couple of friends, and I, went with my sister and a bunch of friends, and they slapped the little thing on my leg, and they're like, "You're going backstage." And I'm like, no, I'm not going backstage. Right. So anyway, I know what they want that for. So I'm not that stupid. So anyway, during the course of the concert, they sent the guy over there, and they said, and I'm not going to say his name.
Oh,
okay. They said, he wants you to come up to the stage. And I'm like, oh no, he must mean this. My sister has this really pretty friend. I'm like, oh, he must mean Angie. He doesn't mean me, right? So I sent Angie up to the stage. I'm like, he's talking to you, because they were shining the light on us from the stage. It's really pissing me off, actually.
No, not her.
They sent her back, and they said no. Said,
we don't want that one. We want the other one.
Shit. I'm like, I'm not. Can I cuss? Sorry about that.
No, you're good. No FCC here.
Up there. So listen to this. There is a pool hall next to the concert hall. And I'm playing pool because I love pool, billiards, whatever you want to call it. And I hear this British voice in my ear. I've been looking all over for you. And I turn around, and it's my idol. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? And I thought my friend.
It wasn't the bass player, I take it.
No. He was a singer.
Sorry, Julie. my
I
co-host
mean,
is a
just
bass
think of
player.
Feel Like Making Love in your ear, you know?
Oh my God, that's
And
crazy.
Ooh.
it was pretty cool. And, you know, it was very interesting experience. And so my friends were like, you have to take one for the team. And I'm like, ugh. If it was anybody but Bad Company, I wouldn't do it. So we went on the tour bus and mayhem ensued. I mean, I felt like I was, what was that movie? Almost Famous.
Oh, there
Yes,
you
right.
go. Nice.
So anyway,
What happens on the bus stays on the bus.
It does.
wow.
So you don't have to
But you can
disclose.
tell it all. There's
But-
only a few million people
Well-
listening to your every word.
Let's just put it this way. I have a newfound respect for the mandolin. But anyway.
All
But
right,
yeah,
all right.
I mean, it was, and I wasn't even in the music business back then. I had no intention of going in the music business. So I feel like the music business was just always my calling and like dragging me into it. My cousins are pretty, I would say, I don't know if they're famous, but they're pretty well established in the music business. And they ran the record plant for many years down in LA at La Cienega.
Okay.
I don't know if you know it. A lot of
I'm
famous.
kind of familiar. I've heard a few hundred records or two.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was a pretty interesting experience. And so
That's so
So,
cool.
you know,
Well,
that's my one
That's
goofy.
you're brushed with greatness, or maybe
Yeah.
you know an elbow
Your
with
escape
greatness.
from
We'll fade to black. We don't want the kids to remember. You know, a friend of mine, a very famous guy who designed recording studios for everybody, the wonderful John Stork of New York, who has done. He started with Electric Ladyland, and he's been around the block a few times, a few hundred. And when I was studying in one of his classes, he mentioned that one of the coolest stories he has is telling his daughters that his wife ran off to LA with Led Zeppelin. That was kind of the end of that. We call that a starter marriage, you know?
You don't
I
want to
mean-
bring your woman around the studio. Come on.
No,
you
and
thinking?
I have to tell you what, if my girlfriend had run off with Robert Plant, I would have given her a hall pass on that one. You know, that's kind of like
you got to.
you got to. I mean, I
Right,
can't.
life is
you
too
know,
short.
I'm comfortable. You know,
Finite
I may
amount
not
of
be
time.
Robert Plant. You know, I'm just
No,
another
anyone else you'd
slug
be pissed
roaming
off.
around.
You know, this time you're going to be like, well done.
Absolutely. All right. Well, here we have mild-mannered Diane Delina. She's going to be telling us some more of her tales from the Rock Road coming up in the new book. Tell-all expose. I'm going to go
Oh my
straight
gosh,
with you.
that's what you gotta do.
I'll make up some great shit to go with it. It's what we call artistic license in the publishing industry.
Hello.
Oh, do we
Oh,
have
who's
Roy?
there?
There's somebody
Hello.
stumbling
Hi.
around. Who's
No, it's just a friend coming in.
Hi, friend.
hi?
Camera shy, are they?
Ask him, does he have any interesting human tricks he'd like to perform for the
Oh, yeah.
holidays?
He's extremely
Ooh, please.
talented. He's extremely
Really?
talented.
Really? What does he do?
He does tile work. So
Ooh,
he's a tile
like
artist.
The
yeah.
tile work, man, that's
Really?
always good.
That is so cool.
I know.
Do,
Very talented individual.
oh, can we meet him?
Sure. I don't know if he wants to come on camera.
No.
We're
Sort
here
of
in
like
Manchester,
is it
Tennessee.
like the tile guy in The Sopranos?
I don't believe it or not. I've never seen The Sopranos. Isn't
Me
that
neither.
terrible?
Oh,
I
you'll
know,
have to,
me
if for no
neither.
other reason. I mean, I'm a guy and I don't really like other guys, but you have to I'm giving you a hint. You'd have to check the tile guy out. Carmela Soprano found him quite tasty looking. I'll just put it that way and leave it at that.
I'm gonna have to watch that now. I'm gonna have to binge
Ask the
that.
tile guy. Ask him if he has any tile stories to tell of, happy patrons.
God, dude.
Poor Diane. That is the look that when people talk politics on my show, I get the same look.
And it's the look where she's just now getting the humor and thinking, oh my God, how do I react?
I love it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you in the hot seat. This is
Well,
not
you know
the
what? I
Howard
have a
Stern
big
show.
mouth, but occasionally I know when not to say something.
I know, right? That's gonna be the hardest thing.
Oh wow. So I'm going to get back into the music world. For everybody watching, Diane is an excellent manager and talent wrangler, as I like to call them. Hell, if she can handle, if she's working with Charlie, man, she's got it going on. I love that guy too. But like everybody who's creative, he walks to his own beat, and that's not something you deal. You just go, that's it, man. Let Charlie roll. I hate people who try and change their artists when they're like, you got what you
Oh,
see,
no.
man. Work it. It's like sell what you have in front of you. You can bore him down to death if you take his edge off. I mean, hell, what fun is
Well,
that?
that is it. That is it. I'm not artistic. So Charlie's a bit of a savant, He can write a hit song like nobody's business, and his
Right.
vocals and
Oh yeah.
his music talent is just undeniable. So you got to kind of take the good with the bad in this business and in any relationship. And he could be a royal pain like most men, right, Julie? But
I have no idea what you're
no
talking
offense,
about.
no offense. We can be a
Yeah.
pain too. But anyway, I can separate myself from the man and the music. And
You are such a gifted woman.
What a
I really can.
diplomatic woman.
You are.
I appreciate the music. I'm such a fan of music because I don't have any musical talents that to me it's just like magic. And when someone can do what he can do, and I've seen him do it, like people say, oh,
Right.
well, he co-wrote that with that famous guy. I'm like, look, I saw him write 3/4 of the song at my kitchen table with just me. Like I said, hey, Charlie, look at what's on the TV or something like that. Next thing you know, he's in there strumming along. He's got a hook. And the next
Cool.
thing you know, he's got it on paper or I'm typing it up on the computer while he's singing it. And,
Well,
he'll
I
they'll
was-
collaborate, put a few lines in there, go, oh, someone wrote that song and he didn't do it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
And I
Well,
was going to
so-
say, don't put yourself down because you do have musical talent. Your talent, musical talent, is to find musical talent. You're like a. I mean, you're a sense. You know it. You know who the right people are. That's a talent in and of itself. Music.
well, see, I never realized that until I was in Nashville recently because I never considered myself an A&R person. I just considered myself a mother who started a record label for her daughter who happened to be lucky to come upon a few talented people. But he said to me, I went into a friend of mine in Nashville's office, and he's a big Sony guy, and he sat me down and he's like, I'm like, you have to hear these kids, and he's like, you know what you're good at, you remind me of, and he's named this woman I've never met before, which is weird. He's like, she is the best A&R person in Nashville, and that's what you are. That's your talent. And so I just recently discovered that that's really what I can do.
Well,
Yay,
you're doing it.
Leveled up.
And so let me ask you, Diane, where does everybody find all things talent in your circle of the world?
What's weird is the talent that I have, and I feel like the 3 artists that I have are extremely talented. They sort of just came to me. I didn't search for anything.
Wow.
And I found that that's a lot in my life. Like my best friends or guys that I dated, they just sort of came across my path. And I just recognized the greatness in those people and appreciated them, and just said, I can see what's within that person. And I think that is, I don't know if it's a talent. I think everyone can do that.
It's a big talent. I mean,
but conversely, I have the yin and yang of that is I don't know when to let go of people.
Yeah.
When I really should.
I know. I have that issue too.
I want to just beat a dead horse, by the way. You're stuck with me for life if I'm your friend. You're not getting rid of me. I don't care what you do. I'm going to fix
that. There you go. Tenacity. We like that. Well, listen, where can we find all things Charlie and Joey and Gina? Tell us where to find your guys.
Okay, so Charlie, you can go to riverrunrecords.co, and don't even get me started on why it's .co. That's a whole nother story. But riverrunrecords.co, it's not a mistake. And you can go to Charlie Allen Country is his website that we have for him, and junaandjoey.com. Everything's there. Or you can go to River Run Records, and then all of their profiles are up there, and you click and it goes to their websites as well. But Spotify, Pandora,
all the usual
iTunes,
spots.
Just plug their names in and they pop up everywhere.
Great. Well, hey, everybody who's watching, Diane's great. I think I just like her touch, and you're good people. So let me ask you, what is the festival in April called?
Okay, so Jimmy Van Zant, which is the cousin of Leonard Skinner, I don't know if y'all know that, who is an artist within himself, cut one of our songs called 100 Proof of Charlie's, which is one of my favorite. And I have a
Okay.
great story about that one day, and a little town called Glastonbury in England. But anyway, having said
Oh,
that,
yes, I know well.
Jimmy called and said he was looking for songs. He loved Charlie's songs. So we went down to EMI in Nashville and we brought him some songs at the studio and he cut it. So we were excited about it. And then unfortunately, shortly thereafter, he passed away from, liver cancer. And so all of his friends, his good friends and family and whatnot, have an annual charity event for, specifically for that disease and anybody who have medical issues. And we try to raise money and
Right.
try to pay in his name, in his honor, to pay
Mm-hmm.
for, any of their ailments and medical bills. And the hospital's involved,
Sure.
and the town of Jacksonville's involved. And that's, where they lived for many years. So it's pretty exciting. And it's going to be a Southern rock, like all famous musicians from all over going to play. And they're going to let June and Joey jam on stage with them.
Oh,
and Charlie.
Do you have the date of that yet?
It's April 9th and 10th.
Okay. Tell you what, when we're off, send me some info so I can make plans. I'm going to try and get down to
You can
Nashville.
also interview, yeah, I sure will. And it'll be on our event page on Facebook and on both my artist page. And
Right.
Joey Nichols is the one who runs that down in Jacksonville. And you can interview him because there's going to be a lot of cool people. And maybe you can interview some of the,
Right.
famous artists, 38 Special,
yeah,
Molly
man.
Hatchet.
We love that.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
I don't mean to rush you, but
They're all
we've
gonna
been
be
running
there.
over because of our tech stuff. We're going to have, for everybody watching, Julie, are we going to run a spot between the shows, or what are we doing here?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so Diane, thank you so much. I'll be
you for
talking
having me.
I'll talk to you like later after the show. I'll reach
Yes.
out just to make sure I have dates
Yeah, we're
right.
going to have a
And-
party at your house, and I'm going to get somebody on that piano, and we're going to rock and roll.
Oh,
Hey man,
yeah.
you're always welcome.
looks like
We'll
a
bring the
party
whole
house.
posse. I got a big house and we can be in New
Gorgeous.
York in a half hour, so life is good. To
Okay.
everybody watching, thank you to Diane,
Thanks,
Delina,
Diane.
and we look forward to seeing her shortly of River Run Records. Bye-bye, Diane.
y'all.
And we're going to bring up next the Crabgrass Cowboys from
Bye, y'all.
Florida, and they are some good friends of mine. They have played forever, and shortly after that, we're going to have Roy Bookbinder up. So stand by. We'll be back with the Crabgrass Cowboys.
For bonus content, extras, and all sorts of cool goodies, become a patron. Go to Patreon. Live with Neve.
All right. How are you guys?
Great. Good. Long
Hey,
time no
Alex, how you
see.
doing?
I know, it's great to see you. And we have Dr. Santa Claus fixing the computers. We love
Oh,
it.
yeah. That's highly overrated, trust me.
That's Jackie's brother, Thumper Santa Claus.
There you go. Well, you know, my grandson plays that thing too and tears it up. So, in fact,
Good
it's a
deal.
fond memory of mine is sitting down and having an upright bass in the studio. And he played cello and all the orchestra, but never sat and jammed. So my guitar player and I sat down and just sort of started playing, you know, and I saw the light bulb go on in his head, which was one of the coolest memories of my life. We're playing and he's like, the bulb just went off. Wow, I don't have to read music. I can just jam with these two guys.
Yeah.
It feels so cool, you know? But so tell me, what are you guys going to play for us?
Well, at this time of year, you hear a lot of traditional Christmas songs, and it just so happens that Happy McKenzie has written, at least 3 really good Christmas songs.
Well, thank you, Patty.
So we like to do them at this time of year. And the first one he wrote for his son when he was about 2 years old, and now he's about 42, and it still applies. It's called Santa, I Want It All.
All right. Here we go with the Crabgrass Cowboys.
Mama wants a red and green apron. Sister wants a brand new Barbie doll. Daddy wants a tool. Now, Santa, I'm no fool. Between you and me, I want it all. I want a puppy and some candy, and a coat would be dandy. One that turns into a space gun and shoots sparks. And then saw that twisted sister, a birthday gift for my blister, and a dog that runs on batteries and barks. rain that smokes and shoots, and a pair of cowboy boots, a golden bracelet with the matching ring, a guitar and a drum, and an organ that goes on. And Mr. Microphone, so I can sing. Well, a skateboard would be bad, and a mongoose fight so that won't have to drive me back and forth to school it does. Some singers for my skates, my football and some weights. Man, Santa, I've been good, so what you say? Yes, Santa, I've been good, so what you say? Santa, you could really make my day. I'll leave you milk and cookies if you will just fill half your sleigh with stuff for me. Now, Santa, what you say? That's Patty Fister on her flying screen fiddle. A Christmas gift. Santa, I've been good, so what you say? Santa, you could really make my day. I said I'll leave you milk and cookies with a little bit of bourbon if you'll just fill half your sleigh with stuff for me. Now, Santa, what you say? Now, Mama wants a red and green apron. Sister wants that holiday Barbie doll. Daddy still wants a tool. Now, Santa, my mama never did raise no fool. Between you and me, I want it all. I said between you and me, I want it
All right.
That was awesome. That was
We all
killer.
want it all, don't we? Don't we want it all? I tell you what. So, guys, I have to ask you, do you have any Christmas adventures or gigs that are mindful after all the time you've been doing this? Have you had any interesting Christmas Eve sometimes be an interesting gig? I've had I guess it was fortunate because I was getting paid, but a couple of those gigs were like the worst of my life in other
Well,
ways.
we've been together since 1988. So,
wow.
Yeah, there's been a few. I'll tell you one thing. All you little musicians out there, you just beginning newbies, don't play Christmas Eve. That's the worst time to play you can imagine.
Yes,
we
it is.
Great place. You remember Rough Riders down in Ybor City?
Oh,
They hired us
absolutely.
to play Christmas Eve one day. And we were playing, and there was nobody there. No.
Are you kidding?
Place.
We used to do the Santa Fest downtown when they had that every year. We did that for several years.
That was a lot of fun.
Right.
Row, but that was a
Oh,
very good Christmas gig.
Yeah, it was great for the kids and adults too.
I had the most fun at the nudist resorts we did in Alabama.
We weren't supposed to talk about the
We
nudist
played just about
resorts.
every nudist resort in Hillsborough
A
County.
lot of stories there.
All right. They always asked us if we wanted to take off our clothes, and we always said these are integral part of our act. So no.
Well, yeah, I guess y'all haven't had the experience in playing at one of the nudist colonies. That's always an interesting sight.
Well, it was
I was
4th of
requesting-
July, and it was so hot, and they put us up underneath this tin roof stage, and I looked out there, and all I saw were 1,000 naked people in a pool. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Has
I
nothing to
have
do with
scars.
Oh.
I have retinal burns from that.
We played them all.
All right, guys. So what else we got for you to play today?
All right.
For
On a
everybody
serious,
watching.
a more serious note, this is actually, I think, one of the most beautiful Christmas songs I've ever heard. written by my partner, Happy McKenzie. And no matter what faith you are or what religion you practice, everyone has a day for their celebration. And this is called We Celebrate This Day.
All right. Thank you.
Notice the bow on the bass.
White horse. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I said, you got to play with a bow on this.
Man, you guys, you're making my day. All right, let's hear some new stuff.
Kings heard angels' voices say, you shall follow where he lays. The Savior King, the Prince of Peace, the brightest star will lead the way. So they followed, gifts in hand, to a place across the sand, the tiny manger filled with joy, promise of the newborn Lamb. Celebrate this day, I gather to say hallelujah, and rejoice in his name. And from our hearts we give to show that he still lives. Hallelujah, be joyous in the word was passed before the birth. This child shall come to save the earth. His father gives his gift of love to let us know what we are worth. We celebrate this day by gathering to say hallelujah. Rejoice in his name, and from our heart we give to show that he still lives. Hallelujah, rejoice in his name.
All right, guys. So
Great.
thank you so much. So tell me, y'all have any special plans other than more of the same as far as Christmas? Staying at home, eating well, and staying out of trouble, hopefully?
Yeah, we've been pretty much shut down on Christmas shows and every other show for the last 10, going on 11 months, I guess, close to a year.
We're going to stay safe, wear our mask, 6 feet distance, and
yeah,
Well,
all the stuff you're supposed to do.
you know,
Get the shot.
hey, thank you a lot for coming on again.
Hey,
I love you
thank you.
guys. You know that, and
It's our
you know,
pleasure.
like I said, I just talking to Diane. I'm going to go to that festival to do the show down in Nashville in April, if God willing, you know. If I'm down there, I'll have to come to Florida because I just got too much business to take care of. I've got family, I got my kids, my grandkids, my parents, got all my musical friends, and as you know, I'm working on that book about the Tampa music scene. So I've got like I can probably spend. It's going good.
We'll have a Cuban sandwich.
Absolutely. We can eat a Cuban anytime I'm in at home, and I look
And
forward
if
to it.
Diane is looking for something totally different, ta-da.
Hey, you know what? There we go. Absolutely. You know, I can't wait to get down, and I probably will spend a lot of time because I haven't been down there since 2 years September, which is just not good, and I miss everybody. And I want to have like a producers and a musical round table. We talked about having a gig, but right now I'm just worried about getting the book done, getting it out, and then we'll worry about having a show down there. I mean, we were talking about it prior to COVID, but it just gotten so weird.
Yeah.
But
Things
well,
will
hey,
get better.
it will get better. And God bless everybody, and we'll see you soon. For everybody
Thank you so
listening,
much for having us, Neil.
Let's get together real soon.
Have a Merry Christmas.
absolutely. And where do they find you? Last
Where can we
thing.
find you guys?
We have lots of YouTubes.
Yeah, Crabgrass Cowboys. Also, cowboyhap@gmail.com. You can get in touch with us. We have Facebook, the Crabgrass Cowboy. I think we're the only Crabgrass Cowboys around. Because nobody can say it but us.
Well, hopefully you don't have any fire ants in your crabgrass. I wish you that for the new year. And no love bugs.
Shedding and hard to get rid of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, listen, we're going to run a little ad, and then without much ado, we're going to bring on Roy Bookbinder. Quite talented. You know, and we're going to let him, I tell you what, I'm going to let him tell all these youngsters what they need to do to shape up and man up a little bit for the future of music. We got to get them and treat them right.
That's right.
In fact, Roy teaches enormous. All right. Hey, we'll see you soon, and I'll talk to you I'll talk to you tomorrow or today after the show.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Questions, comments, click on the chat box.
All right, here he is. Without much ado, Roy Bookbinder, everybody, live with Neve. Roy's joining us from a undisclosed location somewhere in Florida. How are you, man?
I'm okay so far.
Well, that's good. And tell me how's you and I have talked a little bit about the gig situation. I know you've been putting some of your videos up. What advice and what are you just thinking about next year? How soon do you think it'll be before we can start getting back to doing what we're doing?
Well, I'm doing a limited audience show at the Hideaway in St. Petersburg, Florida on January 30th. They're only going to have like 10 tables with 4 people at a table or something. And that's my first show in about 10 months or 11 months or actually, since the last time I played the Hideaway, I played there in February. I usually only do 1 or 2 shows in St. Petersburg where I live in the wintertime. I call them my spring training gigs.
Right.
And I'll probably be doing one at the Palladium in February. I'm not sure. They're trying to work out the situation. Could be
I hear you.
Could be a stream show. But I'm booking up the spring. I'll be up in the Northeast I'll be in Virginia and points north for the spring. And I'm playing the New Bedford Summerfest in July. I'll be up in New England for the whole early part of the summer.
She got Julie excited. She's going to come visit you she's going to come visit you in New England.
Well, I was going to say I think I might be going to Summerfest too. I was just going to say I might see you there because I might be playing there as well, Summerfest. So I might be seeing you there.
Somebody else is playing Summerfest?
I said I might be playing there, so I might see you.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd
It's
be
a
a
yeah.
nice
hoot.
thing. I started out up there in New England back in the 60s. We used to play a little coffee house in New Bedford called the Tri-Works Coffee House, I think. An Irish lady, Maggie Pearce, may she rest in peace, she organized that. And they had me back for my, I think it was the 40th or 50th anniversary, and she was still alive, and she came to the gig, and it was great to see old Maggie Pearce. And I did my show there, and she said, have you been to Jonesboro? I said, well, that's a storytelling festival. She said, yeah. I said, well, I'm just, a folk singer. She said, well, what you're doing is telling stories. She said, may I recommend you on your behalf? So I said, yeah, feel free to do what you want. She was a nice lady, and I ended up getting invited to the National Storytelling Festival in Jonesboro, Tennessee, which was pretty bizarre. That's the oldest city in Tennessee, and
Oh
it's
my
the
God.
biggest storytelling festival. It's like the World Series.
That's cool. So is it like a big bonfire that everyone gets
Oh
around, or how?
no, oh no! It's a huge affair. The National Storytelling Center in Jonesboro, Tennessee. Their festival's usually in October, and they have like 3 circus tents, and they're loaded with like
Oh,
1,500 people apiece. It's
Wow.
it's an
that is
absolutely
great.
incredible thing. So I played that, and it went down pretty good. And actually, the lady told me, she said, when she hired me, she said, well, how many CDs do you have? I said, well, only one's got stories on it. You know, it's a live show. I don't really tell stories. I just talk. And she said, well, and how many CDs do you have without stories? I said, I got 6. So she said, well, make sure you send us 100 of each. I thought to myself, I said, that's ridiculous. That's a lot of CDs. She said, oh, our people will buy CDs. So I called up Rounder Records, who I was recording for at the time, and I said, I need 100 CDs of all my CDs. I had 3 with them, I think. And they said, let's look it up with the computer. They said, well, we got 18 of your first one. I said, you got to be kidding. How many of my second one? We're out of that. I said, well, the Storytelling Festival was 100 of each.
Oh my
And
God.
they said, well, we could get that done in 4 months. And they told me at the Storytelling Festival, if you don't sell them, we'll ship them back. I said, well, okay. So they shipped all these CDs down there. And I did 2 sets on Friday and Saturday morning at breakfast. The lady said to me, you have any more CDs in your little tour bus? I said, oh, I put all my CDs under the table in the tent. They had a tent that was like a Walmart. Some of these storytelling people had like 30 cassettes, you know. And she said, well, I believe they don't have any of your CDs. So I went down there and looked under the table, and they didn't have any. They sold 600 CDs in a day and a half. I said, holy cow, that's more than Rounda sold in 3 years.
Wow. Wow.
That's,
That's
you know,
crazy. Yeah, I did that gig twice.
I guess that's kind of one of those lessons, you know, you probably didn't make that mistake. You always have some stuff with you, you know, because it's a bad feeling when all of a sudden you've been sitting on merchandise for a long time and you bring it to one gig and it's just gone. And it might be something you've had for like a while in a box somewhere. And
Well, I wouldn't have brought them, but they said Rounda had to print them up, and they sold them all. It was like absolutely amazing. It's more than we sold in the first 2 years, I think. But
excellent.
Wow.
the storytelling world is an interesting world. I haven't pursued it. Maybe I should have. I got a call for this one festival in Missouri, and they said, well, somebody in our board saw you at the National Storytelling Festival and wants you to headline our festival here in wherever it was in Joplin, I
That's
think it was.
great.
So I said, oh, headline. So I gave them the big price, and they said, oh, yeah, we could do that. So I went out there, you know. And the first situation was I was playing in the governor's garden at the State House or something. So I got there and there wasn't anybody there. And then I called up the office. I said, there's nobody here. She said, oh my goodness. And I said, you're not supposed to have a sound system. So they brought down this guitar amplifier for a sound system with a microphone. And then there were 6 people there. It was crazy. And I called up the office. I said, there's 6 people here, and the 3 of them, 3 adults with 3 babies in carriages. I said, this is not appropriate. I'm not doing it. I'm going back to the hotel. She said, oh my, well, we apologize. I said, well, I'll be in the hotel. So then the next day they had a sound system and a little stage, and I had 22 people there at the garden. And that was pretty bizarre. I did a few songs, but it was ridiculous, but they were paying me a lot of money.
Yeah.
So then I was supposed to be the headliner Saturday night. So Saturday I went down there and had the vegetable lasagna with all the other storytellers. And then they started telling stories in the library, and they had like a 200-seat situation there. It was pretty packed. So I was the closer. So I actually went out and had Chinese food while the first storytellers were on there because the vegetable lasagna really sucked. And some of the storytellers would say to me, oh, Roy Bookbinder, where have you told? I said, what do you mean? She said, that's what they call it. We say we're doing a gig. They say they tell at their gigs. So I said, I've only done one storytelling festival in my life, the National. They say, you play the National? It's like the dream of every storyteller, They said, how'd that happen? I said, well, they called me up and asked me to do it. So that was interesting. So by the time, after I had my Chinese food and I went up and listened to a couple of stories, the boss lady came over to me. She said, we're running behind schedule. Your 40-minute set, you can only do 20. I said, well, whatever. So I did 20 minutes and they handed me that big check and I got back in my big rent-a-car. I got a big Buick at the airport. They paid my transportation too, and I flew home. So it's pretty bizarre. So I haven't really pursued the storytelling scene, but usually I sing my songs and I tell a little story about the history of that kind of music that I play. And the same kind of thing happened in Nashville when I played Nashville Now. I did a show there and sang some old time song. And it was really bizarre. Charlie Pride, may he rest in peace, was sitting on the couch. He already did a song. And I did a finger picking bluesy thing. And I came over and Ralph Emery, the host of the Nashville Now show, said, Charlie, this is Roy Bookbinder. He's an old friend of ours here on the TV station. I said, hey, Charlie. And he was laughing really hard. I said, what's so funny? He said, what's so funny? You're playing guitar like my uncles in Mississippi, and I'm singing Hank Williams songs. So that was pretty fun.
Well, let's talk about that. A lot of folks, you're pretty well known for your guitars. And what's your favorite, your moment? I know, how many guitars do you have at this point? And I know you've got some favorites. And
well, I'm just down to about 4. I've sold a lot of my guitars. I was always into old Gibsons, and then some guy made me I was playing a gig in Valparaiso, Indiana. This guy was playing a strange guitar, and I didn't talk about it. I did my little show, and I walked outside to have a cigarette back in those days, and the fellow followed me out. He said, interesting. I said, what's that? He said, I never thought in my life I would see somebody play a 1931 SS Stewart Professional that was actually a variation of the Gibson L2 of 1930 that was only made for 1 year.
Wow.
The SS Stewart didn't have Gibson made them guitars in 1930. They didn't make guitars anymore. So that was pretty interesting. And he made replicas of old guitars, but he'd never seen the SS Stewart variation of the Gibson L2. And that was cool. We became friends. And then he told me after I played Valparaiso a few times that he wanted to build me a guitar. And he's a reputable builder who can build down to the weight of the internal braces, The New Era Guitars, he calls his company, Tony Klassen. So he said, I want to build you a guitar. I said, well, I don't really need one, Tony. You should be, you're going to make a living. He said, well, what old guitar have you never had? I said, in 1930, Gibson made some guitars for Montgomery Wards, and they were called Recording Kings. Now now a Chinese company's doing that. But they only did it for 1 year. They made a variation of the Nick Lucas Special, which was a high-end flat-top guitar in the Gibson catalog during the Depression, sold for $125, which was like you could buy a Chevrolet,
Right.
And only the Cowboy stars and the vaudeville stars like Nick Lucas himself, who had Tiptoe Through the Tulips in 1923, he had his own model. It was a deep-bodied guitar. People say it's a small guitar, but in 1930 it was the biggest flat-top Gibson made. And I said, Gibson made a variation of that guitar for Montgomery Ward's, the black Nick Lucas. He said, oh yeah, he said, Norman Blake's got one. I said, yeah, I want one of those. He said, I'll build you one. And he built me one that was so good, and he called it the Roy Bookbinder Special. And over the years, in the last 12 years, he's made about 12 of those, and people have been scooping them up. The guitar I'm playing right now is one that Tony made. It's a replica of the 1929 Nick Lucas Special, and it's just a wonderful guitar. Wonderful guitar.
Well, how about you sing us a song and tell us the story of the guitar and something that's appropriate for it?
I sold most of my old guitars because they became too valuable to tour with, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And so it was a good investment. Okay, I'll play this little ditty here. Now, a lot of people call me a blues man, and I guess I'm sort of a blues man, but the last couple of albums I've written all the songs, but if I didn't tell you I wrote them, you would think they were written back in the period. I mean, the golden age of guitars was the 25 to 35 really, and it's also the golden age of American music, I think. So
I agree.
A little tune I made up called It's Gonna Be All Right Someday, and it's really a good one to sing during this pandemic episode here that we're going through. Can you hear that okay?
Yep.
I can't see myself. Oh, there I am. Let me center myself in this camera here. It's going to be all right someday. It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. It's going to be just fine. It's going to be all right someday. It's going to be all right. Drinking Cuban coffee every morning and Irish whiskey at night. I'll be walking downtown with my very best gal under the stars in the moonlight. It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. It's going to be okay someday. It's going to be all right. No more troubles or heartaches. There'll be no more worries or fears. This old world's gonna keep spinning around without any sorries, without any fears. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. I won't have to take no more losses, 'cause I'm only gonna have wins. You know that my lucky number's gonna keep coming up every time that the wheel of fortune spins. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right someday. It's gonna be okay. That's a cute little ditty.
This is very good.
Yeah, I learned how to play guitar studying old blues singers, and I got to hang out with. I went on the road in 1969 or 68 with Reverend Gary Davis, who was a legendary guitar player, made records in 35, a blind man. And in 1949, he went up to New York and was singing on the streets of New York. And all the folkies saw him, Lead Belly and Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie all knew Gary Davis. And he was a devout Christian. And then when the folk music scare happened in 1959-60, Peter Paul and Mary recorded a Christian song that he was singing. And lo and behold, the record, folk music became pop music, and they sold a couple million records. And they called Gary Davis down to their offices, and the lawyers and the publishers asked him if he wrote the song about Samson and Delilah. And he said he didn't write any song. They were pretty excited about that, I heard. And then he kind of said, well, that song was revealed to me in the spring of '29. And Peter, Paul, and Mary insisted he get paid, and his first check was 5 figures.
Wow. Hi.
High figures. So that was pretty good. He never sang on the streets again. And they hooked him up with Joan Baez's manager, Manny Greenhill in Boston, Folklore Productions. He was managing Joan Baez and Dave Van Ronk and Jim Kweskin Jug Band and all kinds of people. And Gary Davis toured the world for the last 12 years of his life and never sang on the streets again. Built him a house in Long Island we lovingly referred to as the house that Peter, Paul, and Mary built.
Wow.
And I got out of the service in '65, and I was in the Navy, and I was hanging out in Greenwich Village, and Dave Van Ronk and Ramblin' Jack Elliott were my two heroes and became good buddies of mine, which is really that's kind of a win in your life if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
If you become your buddies, you really named the baby. So they kind of suggested I go see Gary Davis if I want to really learn how to pick guitar. So I rang him up, but he was giving guitar lessons for $5. And
Wow.
I had one guitar lesson, and I quit college. I was going to college on the GI Bill, and I went on the road with Reverend Davis on and off for a year and a half.
Wow.
And
What were you going to study, Roy?
Huh?
What were you going to study?
I wanted to be an educator. I wanted to teach to change the world. You know, in the 60s, they were changing the world. My last job, I was living in an orphanage in the South Bronx. I was just a college student, but I was hired as a counselor for the kids, the boys. And on and off, I went out on the road with Gary Davis back then, and I played my hootenannies in Greenwich Village with people like Phoebe Snow and Richie Havens before they made records. That was pretty cool.
I bet.
That was pretty damn cool. And when I left the orphanage, I told the boys, I said, fellas, I'm not leaving because I don't love you all. I'm leaving. You know how we stay up late on Wednesday night to watch the Glenn Campbell TV show? They said, yeah. They said, and on Saturday we stay up to watch the Johnny Cash show? They said, yeah. I said, you keep your eye on that TV. Mr. Bookbinder's going out with his guitar. Let's see what happens.
Well, you know, I think you've done a great job as an educator, Roy. I mean, what can I tell you? You are a teacher, just a different.
Right. Let me tell you
different
something.
than
25 years after I left the orphanage, I don't know when it was probably about 87 or 88. I was doing Ralph Emery's Nashville Now TV show, you know, and the other guest that particular night, there was a guest host, and it was Glenn Campbell, and the other guest was John Hartford. So it was like being on the on the Glenn Campbell show. So I told that story to Glenn Campbell and the Nashville crowd, and that was nationwide TV, which was pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
2 or 3 of my boys saw that on TV and contacted me, and I'm still in touch with them. They're in their 50s and 60s now.
Wow, that is just such a great story, man. That is really cool.
It up, you know, it's amazing.
Let me ask you, is there any video footage left? Because the reason I ask, I was on the Tonight Show, the Johnny Carson Show, and Candid Camera as a child. And, you know, in my band days, I wanted to get a hold of that footage. They had come to my school, Candid Camera, and they had us all in a room asking us various questions. And they asked me a question they said, the questions for all the kids were signs, and how do you react to a sign as a child? So like they'd say, what does it mean stop? It means stop driving the car. Well, they asked me, what is a sign? What would you do if you saw a sign that says to let, which means, you know, for rent in England? So I looked at it and I thought it had an I in it and said toilet. My dyslexia gene kind of kicked in. So I said, well, I'd hit the bathroom if I saw a to let sign. I'd where you go potty or some shit like that. Well, they thought it was cute, you know. So my mom got a check. I think it was like $100, which in '65, that would have been a lot of money, you know. And I remember having the letter, and then a second check came from the Tonight Show. Now, my family, I was like 5 or 6, and I tried to get those videotapes, but I couldn't. They had burned, let me think, Candid Camera's copies had burned in a warehouse fire out in California.
It's hard to get permission. I have a whole reel of my every show I did on Nashville Now. I was on there about 25 times, and that went pretty good for me. But they own them.
Right.
and every once in a while, one slips on onto YouTube. Somebody puts it up from their own personal collection, and they're pretty funny. I was on there with a lot of people. I was sitting on the couch with Chet Atkins. He said, "How'd you do that ending?" I said, "I'll show you someday."
Wow. Wow.
I got that video clip of Chet looking at my hands. It's pretty funny. And Chet,
That's awesome.
I became friends with Chet. He used to correspond. He knew what I was doing, you know. He was laughing at what I was doing. And when I got on that show in the beginning, I was on tour with Bonnie Raitt, and we played the Grand Ole Opry. Long story, but Roy Acuff and Bashful Brother Oswald were, when I came off the stage, were laughing and slapping me. How old are you playing them licks? They knew what I was doing, because back in the early days of the Opry, old-timey music, there was a lot of bluesy pickers on there, you know, because and they got a big bang out of me, and that also helped lead to my Nashville career, which was short-lived when the show went off the air. But I still get people in the audience who used to see those shows, because the only difference really between old country blues and old hillbilly music is the color of the guy playing the guitar. I mean, Jimmy Rogers,
Yeah, it's not
was
the
a country
truth.
star, and he was a blues guy, really. It's a Jimmy Rogers song. You know?
Yes.
That's Waiting for a Train. But it's a blues. I mean, a lot of the black blues guys did songs by Jimmy Rogers after he was such a big star. So you know, you never can tell what's going to happen. Let me play another song.
Let's
Another
go.
one I made up. This one I call "Could Have Been Worse." They say also goes to this pandemic, I suppose.
All right.
Got that old style of finger picking. My good gal left with another man. Won't be missing her raising sand. She ain't good looking and she don't dress fine. A girl can't cook and she's always lying. It could have been worse, they say. Could have been worse, you know. Could have been worse, just wait. Yeah, it could have been worse, you see. Old picket boy. Mama don't like me, told me so. In my business, she sticks her nose. She'll pop in, doesn't have a clue, and she'll catch us doing the dippity-doo. Well, it could have been worse, they say. Could have been worse, you know. Could have been worse, just wait. Shoot, could have been worse. She likes her whiskey and she likes her wine. She's smoking them reefers all the time. She gets so high, can't hardly stand it. She can't remember I'm her man. It could have been worse, they say. Could have been worse, you know. Could have been worse, just wait. Could have been worse, you see. It's just part of it. They give you a little piece of different songs. That's Could Have Been Worse. That's on my album, The Good Book. I wrote all the tunes on that album. That was my biggest selling album. At one point, when that record came out, we were on the folk charts. We were number 3 on Airplay Direct. That's a big industry chart thing on the internet. Number 3 behind Guy Clark and Townes Van Zandt. So that was pretty good.
Wow. Did you ever, I'm curious, did you ever have a chance to meet
Still
Townes
there?
Van Zandt?
Hello?
Hello? Hold on, sorry.
Uh-oh, did I lose you? Where are you?
I'm coming back. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear
Yeah,
us?
I can hear you.
Cool. Roy, can you hear us?
My question, Roy, was did
Seem
you
to have
ever have
lost
any
you.
did you ever cross paths with Townes Van Zandt?
Where are you?
I'm here, hold on.
Hello?
What's going on, Julie?
I don't know. I don't know why you can't see us. Hold on. Can you see me, Roy?
What
Can you see
happened?
me? Can you see me? Can you see us?
Hello? Oh, I
Roy?
see what's going on. Hold on. Ah! Oh, shoot. There we go.
Roy,
Can you see us, Roy? Roy?
Well,
Hold on. Oh, shit. Let me solo layout him. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, Roy, can you hear us?
Hello?
hello, can you hear us?
Hello, Roy.
Oh, it's been about an hour. It's an hour over an hour anyways.
Okay.
I
We're
don't
in
know.
the show. Everyone can hear you. I can't hear you.
I can
hear
hear
us?
There you
you.
go.
Can you see us?
I don't know where you are, kids.
Fuck.
What are you worried about? There's no FCC. It's just part of the show.
I can't hear you.
Hey, Roy, can you hear us?
Says
Can you
it's
see us?
live.
Can you hear me, Roy?
Chat.
Hold on,
Press
let me
in
get
chat.
here. I'm checking audio while we're speaking. Check, check. Everything's going out okay on this end.
Same here. I've got.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to call Roy and have him. Can he use that to come back into the room, the same link?
Yeah, you should. Just remember we're live. So,
Okay, run a couple of spots for a minute. I'm going to call Roy and ask him to come back in. Hey,
Oh, here he
Roy.
is. Hey, Roy.
Chat with hosts.
Can you hear us?
I'm going to send him a private chat.
We're
So this is normal for the streaming business because technology changes every day.
You know, for what we pay. What do I pay these people for?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he got my text.
Try it. I'm going to shut it off and give.
So we get troubleshooting tips. We get
Oh my
troubleshooting
gosh.
tips.
So everybody watching, we've been having a great time talking to Roy Bookbinder. We're going to bring him back on. For anybody who's not aware of Roy, all you have to do is Google him. I'm going to have him back in just a second. I want to say thank you to the Crabgrass Cowboys. I see you guys sitting in the green room over there. Cheers to you, mate. Hey, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, super awesome.
I'm going to just go ahead and bring him on for a minute. Add to stream.
Uh-oh.
Hey, people. How y'all doing?
Hey.
We're waiting for Roy to come back, so I figured, well, you're here. You might as well just join the conversation.
Yeah. Want to do another song for him?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to text him and sign back in. Let's see.
That's caught us with our glasses on.
Roy, as always, is fascinating. He has
the guy
greatest
just
story.
knows. Yeah, he knows so much about the situation. I mean, what a great guy.
I wish I could pick guitar like him.
Oh, God, don't we all?
Oh,
man.
man.
He's one of a kind, hand carved, man.
He is.
Fun guy.
Is. He's one of the autographs on my guitar case.
Oh,
right.
Well, you bet. I had to get
it on the show. Okay. Hold on. Let me see what this thing's doing. Okay, for everybody, you want to have a television show? You want to play in a rock and roll band? This is how we do it.
Oh, I know. It's so much fun explaining that, right?
Hey, Roy,
just
do me a favor.
Right?
We're still holding the line open. Just go ahead and you're logged out. Just log back in because we're holding the show open.
Because anything.
All right, I don't know. That's some kind of Facebook show.
Wrong.
Whatever it is, but we'll have you. We're waiting on you. We got the whole party here. All right.
Anything and everything that can go wrong with technology normally does.
Here. We're actually
live with Murphy.
Right?
We're looking at the live screen, Julie.
Okay.
Yes, StreamYard.
So excited.
Yep, that's it.
Waiting with bated breath.
All right.
Yeah, go to Safari. Click it.
So what are your Christmas plans?
Log in. There you go,
Just
my
playing music?
friend.
Oh, we're gonna play in our house.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Julie, this
Good.
was wonderful for us. Thank you
Oh,
very
good.
much.
Oh, no problem. Thank Neil. I mean, you
Hey, sir.
guys are wonderful.
I can't wait to see
All
how
right,
we
he's
did.
coming in.
Yeah, you guys did great. You were so much fun. You're gonna
Thank
love
you.
it.
Oh, fuck off the goddamn.
You're a welcome addition too, Julie.
Oh, thank you. I
All right.
appreciate that.
Okay, man.
Hey,
I'm
how
gonna
are we
hang
doing,
up
Neil?
because you'll be in a minute.
Oh, so we're checking on here. Okay.
All right. I'm
This
gonna
is
leave
fun.
it on just in case.
Live. Coming at you live.
This is funny.
Digital
You
world.
don't get second chances often. I'm so. No
And the
problem,
funny thing
Roy.
is,
We're hanging. Everybody's here.
it's like-
We're worried sick.
this is the it's entertaining, right? You know, as long as it's entertaining.
It is.
I just want to hear you play some more guitar, man.
You never know what's going to happen next,
You
right?
never know. You've got somebody in the background walking back and forth and stuff. It's so cool. Who knows?
That's-
what's gonna happen next?
That's the
No, don't
thumper
worry, man. You're
without his
fine.
Santa outfit.
There you go. That was it. Okay, I got it. That's so
I forgot
good.
about it.
Yeah.
Right.
How many guitars do you have? Is that a bass in the white? The white?
It is.
Yes.
There's
Oh,
a
it's not
bass,
white.
a Martin,
Okay.
Thunder.
So you're looking at it.
yeah, Hoffner.
Hey, Julie.
Yes, sir.
I have Roy on the phone. He's sitting there. He clicked the link and it says select a destination. So I'm guessing he should go to broadcasts in progress.
No, the destinations are the Facebooks and all the links. He's just supposed to go to broadcast studio.
Hang on. I'm going to put Julie on the line with you. Hang on, Roy. Live troubleshooting with Julie. Go ahead,
Oh, God.
Julie.
Right.
Nice.
Okay. So you should just be able to see the title next to the duck that says, oh my God, I'm dying here. LWN Roy Bookbinder and comma Dina.
Oh.
Don't see your platform. Choose RTMP server. Should I try a broadcast?
No, those don't touch those. Those aren't. That's what's linking us to everybody else. That's what we're streaming to. There should just be you should just be.
Destination.
What's the destination? He asked Julie.
Spain.
Oh, okay. All right. Roy.
He's not going to be able to get back in because he was on the air and
Listen,
then got cut off.
here's what we do. I hate to ask you to do this again, but sign out and then just sign in from the link. If you want, I can send you the link again. Sometimes this shit gets a little weird, unfortunately.
She's playing with the kitty.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to the what do you call it? Messenger, Facebook Messenger.
All right, hold on one sec.
All right.
Facebook Messenger.
Come on, Mona Lisa.
Okay, Roy, she's sending it as we speak. For those of you watching,
Entertaining
we're watching an
live.
expert troubleshoot her job. Julie is taking command of the situation.
Oh God, everyone
No
got a
pray.
kitty
Julie.
cat.
Oh, look
Everybody
at this
pray.
guy.
I know.
Look at that.
He's great.
Missing.
Tell
Yeah.
me what's his name.
This is Mona Lisa.
Oh man, Roy, you're
This is
I'm looking
Thumper's
at
new kitty.
their new kitty. The Crabgrass Cowboys have a new cat, and she is gorgeous.
See? I said kitty.
Oh.
We know what it is.
Stop it.
Right. Well, he is one fine-looking specimen. My cat
is.
will be joining us. Either one will shortly make an appearance, I'm sure.
I don't know if you noticed my rhinestones on my.
Wow, look at you! Gosh
Yeah,
almighty.
buddy.
Hold your arm up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have
yeah.
to be. We've
All my
talked. I
lines
gotta send
running.
you a shirt, man.
I did all this myself.
Excellent. Looking good, man. You're another nudie. Get yourself
There
a
you
new
go.
suit.
There you go. The rhinestone Rembrandt.
There you go, man. All right, Julie will get you in there. She's standing by.
More than I expected.
Thank you, Julie. It appears he's cruising in. Okay,
All right,
for
we're gonna
everybody
say-
watching. Oh, go ahead.
Vaya con Dios.
Vaya con Dios. I'll sign you out, but stick around. We might bring you back since you're just hanging. It's a big party. So we get Roy back on.
We're signing out.
Ray wants
All
to
right.
join us.
We'll
Thank
see you
you
later.
guys. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Merry
guys.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Oh,
Okay, Roy should be in any minute.
okay.
Here he was. Oh, he was here. You were in for a second. Huh, that's weird.
Did it cut off in the middle of my song, or did it miss that whole song?
No, your song was fine. For those of you who are watching, we're getting Roy back on. We're fooling around with the various.
Does he have a lot more to play and stuff, or is what are we shooting for here? We're at.
Let's see if we can get. Is it doing anything, Roy?
No, well, I'm now looking at StreamYard.com. It says log into your account.
It's just logging him into the account. I'll tell you what, Roy. Why don't we do this?
We need.
We've had a good start to this. How about we pick up this interview in another day, so we don't have. All right. Well, hey man, thank you so much. It's going to be on. You'll be able to watch it in a few minutes, and I'll talk to you in the next couple of weeks. Okay, man. Take care. I get it. I love it. I just love Roy the best, man. I got to tell you what. For everybody watching, that was one of the most fun interviews I've had in a long time.
I'm dying.
For all of you who are laughing at us, I know you're laughing with us. I'm laughing too. You know, we try really hard to get this shit better every time we go on. And
well, the cool thing
no matter
was,
what, it's like Murphy's Law. It has his own vote, you know. And we missed all the good things we could have talked about. Like when I asked our favorite Christmas tune, that would have been great fun. He's like, I don't do Christmas tunes. I love it, man. I'm like, all right, well, just play what you do then, mate. You know. But it's a lot of fun every time. And I'm just gonna say this: we're still alive, aren't we, Julie?
Yeah. So let's end that. I was doing a live chat, so I think I have some little tricks here to try. So I'm going to try those, and we'll see.
Oh, okay.
So I'll do that. Well, and I'll touch back with you. Thanks everyone for hanging and experiencing along with us.
You know, I'm going to just talk for a second while we're hanging. You know, it is Christmas week. And I have to just say, I've had a lot of people, and there's too many names for me to remember. But that said, you know, we started this in March of last year. And so this isn't, I kind of look, I hope you all will give this like the hall pass year where we figured things out for the most part. You know, again, we're open donations. We need foundations. Anybody who wants to send us like big chunks of money. You know, we could start my own deranged personal version of National Public Radio. We'll just call it Neil Public Radio.
Neil
NPR,
Radio.
baby. They can come after me for that one, too. We're going to have several shows with provocative names that they'd have a hard time fooling with me, I think. But who knows? That's why you have to have lawyers to tell me, hey, that probably not going to be a good idea. And no, I'm not one of these, I don't know if anybody, I don't want to offend you, but if you're a sovereign citizen, you're probably not in my viewing circle. So I can say this safely and without worrying about it. I'm kind of like it's like a sovereign citizen of the trademark world. You know, this is Neil Ernest Van Eerde for everybody who's wondering why the show. No, I don't think I'm Prince. It's none of that crap. It's We Save on Ink, Neil Ernest Van Eerde. There's a lot of vowels and stuff in that name. And to put it all behind me, you know, I don't have the skill of Eddie Van Halen. I am a drummer. No, but I am like Alex Van Halen. I'm a drummer and I have skills that nobody knows about except me and, you know, the select few who know about drummer skills.
You have superpowers. What are you talking about? You've got
hey man, I can leap over small children in a single bound. I did it several times yesterday at the mall.
Oh,
I saw one family out of the whole mall who had the matching husband and wife. No,
did you take a picture?
No, the husband and the kid, excuse me. But they all had khaki. And I looked at them and I thought, what a perky little couple. They looked, just running around in search of some styrofoam crap. I've
stuck your leg out?
You know what? I tell you something. Going into Macy's, which always has had a proud tradition of great stores, I'm like, when did freaking Kmart move into Macy's and charge $100 for this? I'm starting to feel like we're getting shades of the Soviet Union in the 70s when you'd go and think of a Montgomery Ward's like when it was empty and before they died. That's sort of like Soviet shopping centers. And I swear to God, I had that thought going through there. People fighting over the ugliest and crappiest of stuff. I really thought it's like pre, end of communist Soviet Russia and Poland and all those places. It's like there was more shit for sale. And the people who were shopping at this point, including myself, we were all certifiably insane because we're in the middle of the COVID thing. And I'm walking around just for laughs, coughing to myself.
Are you serious?
No, I really behave myself. I joke about that. Please, if anybody's watching this and you don't know what a joke is, before you try anything that I suggest or tell you that I may have done, I may have considered it, but there's a certain part of your brain that keeps you from holding your breath too long or I don't know, hurting yourself. Any rate, these things are just ideas and jokes. It's a concept known as humor, satire, and we're here to deliver on that. And sometimes we just screw up, and that's even more funny than any joke I could possibly make.
Because the fact is stranger than fiction. I mean, really, reality is what it is. That's why do you think reality shows are so big? Right?
Well, right. And some of them are the most hideous human beings and stories of detritus and degradation, some sin thrown in there for fun. I mean, and then there's just a whole bunch of plain old stupid, including our show. We bring them all on. We don't just get the crazy guests. We give them a glass of whiskey, bring them onto the couch and say, hey, how are you? What's happening?
Where was I?
And what the hell, man? Once we get that big, from the... I don't know, whatever foundation it seems, the foundation for the Center for the Propagation of Humor and the style that offends everyone, that's going to be my foundation. If you're not offended by a comic, you're not a human. Depends on what pisses you off, whether you're going to get offended by the guy. But at the end of the day, you know what? We got to get Vinny Brand back on because Vinny always has the answer to all things comedic.
He and Mike do.
Right. So, listen, everybody, this show's gone way past its allotted time.
This is my favorite episode so far.
It was pretty fun. I have to say it's priceless. Trying to reconnect when we're having so much fun with Roy just kicks my ass. Again, to everybody watching, I hope you can learn to laugh with us and not just at us, because I assure you, if you're laughing at us when we get off, we're cracking up, and what you see is what you get. There's no BS here. We have a good time, and we're glad you're here. I mean, I'm glad Julie's here. I'm glad everybody who I see over here regularly sending jokes and ideas and show ideas. I just love the heck out of everybody.
And I have to say,
yes.
Oh, sorry.
No.
3 seconds, and I'm still missing it. No, I was just going to say, before this, things were rocky this morning and they weren't good. And I was screaming my head off. But now it was just all this awesome fun. And instead,
I'm clean fun
now instead of screaming my head off. So that's much better.
Remember, no lab animals were harmed in any of these shows yet. We have a totally grain-free, vegan-approved special. We have special spices. They're not really spices, but they're kind of like the equivalent of vegan cheese. No offense to you guys. God almighty, that crumble stuff is just horrendous. And I know you're trying to save yourself and the world, and I'm not picking on you. If you have a vegan lifestyle, trust me, You can come by the house once a year. I never throw the Jehovah's Witness guys out. When they come up, I have a nice little discussion with them, and I'll do the same with you. I'll eat a tofu burrito and pretend I like it. I will make one exception, though, and I say this, I kind of digress, but a great friend of ours, Andre Chumley. Everybody in the rock and roll industry knows Andre, and he has great wit, clever guy, and an amazing talent. I just love the hell out of him. Andre, if you're watching out there, man, I love you, dude. But gosh, you got to eat some meat, man. No, Andre runs the show Meatless Mondays. So I know when he sees this, he's going to have like a bunch of really great scientific. He's one of the few people I'll actually let roll their, try and turn me, so to speak. But, he'll have like this really great list of reasons why, I probably would do better on a vegetarian diet. But the truth of it is, I don't drink.
Afraid you're going to be covered with pussies?
I could. I might become like a lichen or be like that Chia Obama thing they sold, back in when President Obama, they had the Chia Obama. Some asshole got offended by it and they took it off the market. I was going to buy like 100 of them, They would be great party favors and all. I mean, now the fact that they took them off the market, now that you can probably, I'm going to guess, everybody watching this, it's gone badly awry. We're onto President Obama Chia pets at this time. But they took them off because they offended somebody. But now to find one on YouTube, it probably costs, I don't know. I'm not going to do it right now, but it's pretty frequent.
Seriously? They still have them?
Well, no, they took them off the market. So I'm saying if you want to get one, you got to buy, like, it's hermetically sealed and safe. It's vegan free, too. No, yeah, it is. It's just got some, chia seeds. But they took that thing off, and now they sell. He had a very acceptable fro. I have to tell you, George Clinton would have dug it. He was, one nation under a group. I love that song. I put that shit on to my neighbors here for a half an hour. 25 minutes. We got the funk, or One Nation Under a Groove. And everybody's out there, if you like your funk, you want to look at the Parliament Funkadelic shows starting in the 80s. The shows at New Orleans Superdome, Capitol Theater in New York. That shit for me as a skinny white kid growing up in suburbia just blew my mind, man. I heard that shit and was like, wow, I'm going to play this and annoy people really good too. So I'd go from Frank Zappa to George Clinton to, I was just a little terror, I like to educate my neighbors on the finer parts of music, useful perspective. Yeah, it's like, I'd be like Bill Buckley. I'd put on my blazer, this little patch from my club, and I would take that joint of marijuana and go out behind the 12-mile limit, legally inbred under marijuana. Yes, I got very agitated. I started thinking impure thoughts about the princess of I don't know where. But anyway, this bit's gone on too long. It is time to get it done and say goodbye to everybody.
Oh my God, I can't believe we have anybody still watching. That is hilarious.
There is like one person, and we have 7 comments. Tell Neil to buy a sense of humor. What's this one?
I'm going to watch from the beginning. Now that's good.
I have one here that says, what brand of underwear do you wear?
Oh, is that for you?
Yeah. Or no, maybe it's for you.
Oh,
Bellevue
yeah.
has space. Bellevue, one of our fans is recommending they send a van over with a couple of guys to, just give me a nice, quiet, warm place. It's all fuzzy, and I can wear one of those warm jackets. Bellevue. I'm not an animal. That's terrible. Let's see what else.
Okay.
I don't see anything about that. They seem to have gotten rid of the panty. Remember, if you have to ask a question like that, the only way you can get them is from the Neve store.
No, you can also get them in Japan in whatever pop machines.
We're gonna get banned on Facebook, It's like all my friends are banned on Facebook right now, which is fairly funny to me. Can you believe this? This just shows you the irony of life. I've done all kinds of crap thinking I was going to get booted from there. I've offended anybody possible. I don't care what political persuasion, religious, ethnic group, preferred pronoun. They've all gotten pissed about something at some point. And I'm like, okay, man, like I didn't mean it. I wasn't really thinking about it that way. Oh God, and then somebody's going to get all irritated and be like, well, you're not a very sensitive person. I'm like,
when in truth you really are.
I really am, but sometimes you just say something that appears to be funny and somebody's got to get hurt or bent out of shape.
Always.
I mean, like Lisa Lampanelli is not nearly the fun she was. She's all woke and like, everything's just not even funny. Come on, go get yourself some food, Lisa. Whoever these Nazi, I can't use that term. I'm sorry, people. That was really bad. Whoever these people are, though, who tormented her into eating like healthy, she used to be funny. Nobody cared if she was a fat chick. She was funny as hell. And she insulted everybody. I mean, I've seen her tear into people in the front row. And, now she did that. Lord have mercy. At any rate, we will have some comedy and we'll talk more about the changing tides of comedy. I digress. As you can see, we've been trying to end it for a while, but Julie, do you have anything to add to this grotesque saturnalia of the show?
Let me think. I think just
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week, live with Neve.